Okay, thank you. First of all, if you have questions as I go along, since we can't really raise hands and do things like that, make sure your chat window is open on the right and type in your questions, and I'll keep an eyeball on that, and I'll see your question, and I'll weave it in as I can. I will get to it though. So just type in your questions or type in your concerns or just whatever you might, oh, could you go over that again? Or I missed that, or could you, I'd like that link, or just whatever concerns you have. Because one of the things that is hard in these kinds of meetings is the interaction. And I personally, I feed on it. I love to be right there with you and see the expressions on your face, and I can tell whether I'm getting there or I've rung a bell in your head, and this is going to be a little more challenging. So you have to kind of ring that bell openly for me so that I can see what you're thinking, and so I can steer what I'm saying and what I'm targeting to your needs. Okay? All right. I have a company, Sonic Spider. I've been in The Sonic Spider has been in business since 2004. I am semi-retired now. Fortunately, I can be semi-retired. I mostly deal with old customers right now. I've been in the e-commerce business since the late 80s. I started off writing software, business software, accounting software. Then in the mid-90s, I got into the web, and since the mid-90s to the present, I have been involved in e-commerce web development. So I have worked with every possible pay provider. I've worked with all kinds of, there's some new ones that have showed up in the last few years that I really haven't had direct involvement in. Some I have because my clients have moved into it. If I don't know something, I will tell you. But then I'll be more than glad to research it for you and get back to you. So make sure that if you have a question after this is over, you later on in the day go, oh, I meant to ask, send me an email and I'll answer it. Okay. I'll send you links and stuff. Okay. One of the other things I want to direct you to.
Sorry, John, before we jump into your presentation, I just realized we'll have to jump back and give our attendees a chance to introduce themselves. We jumped right into you.
Oh, yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Enough of my coffee this morning, guys, so I'm on my way to drinking my quota for the day. So with that, my apologies to attendees here. Okay. We'll move it on to Wendy, and then I'll come back to you, John. So Wendy, I'm going to unmute your mic for a second. And then try it on your end, Wendy. There you go.
There you go.
Tell us a little bit about your organization.
Thank you. Okay, so I may be a little unusual to be in a forum like this. I'm the executive director of an organization called Freedom Dogs. We've moved into a training facility in Oceanside, and we are specifically working with the Wounded Warrior Battalion of Camp Pendleton, providing specialty service dogs for the men and women who are suffering from PTSD and TBI. The organization's been around 14 years, but I am their first employee. So this is the first time that I, as a nonprofit professional, have a chance to work with this organization that's very solid, depends very much on outreach, fundraising. We're not open to the public, so that's what makes us a little bit different at this time. And what I'm looking for is opportunities to learn how to better reach the public through the media, through, we're just not using social media well enough. We're not using our Gmail, our Google account. So that's why I'm here, just to listen a bit. And I apologize in advance that I have conflict. So I'll stay on as long as I can. And it's just a great opportunity to get to meet some other chamber members since we're relatively new to the chamber.
Awesome. Well, welcome on, Wendy, and thanks for joining us today. Next on, we're going to move over to Miss Lauren Miller.
Hi there. I represent an artist co-op here in Prince Rupert, British Columbia. And right now we're really struggling to keep our doors aren't even open. We're just trying to pay our rent while we're waiting to open our doors. We're hoping to open in June. But we have some social media accounts. We use our Google account a little bit, but not effectively. And so we need to start going to a more online process, I think, of reaching our customers. So that's why I'm here. I don't know much about any of this, and I'm actually running a household and baking right now. So that's my timer going off. I just have to run.
We'll go ahead and mute your mic.
That's all right.
That's the fun part about these Zoom meetings is, we're able to edit that out of our recordings, and, we get an inside look into people's lives a little bit. So it's interesting. Well, go ahead, Omar. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, first of all, thank you. My name is Omar. I'm 23 years old. I'm studying business administration at UCSI University in Malaysia. I'm here because I have an assignment and related to e-commerce.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you can learn quite a bit from John. So thank you for joining us for this today. Otis, you are up.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Otis Walton, and I am an agency development manager with Colonial Life. We do business-to-business insurance with small and large businesses, and I also do individual life and accident policies as well. We help businesses with cost-saving strategies to help not only the businesses, the employers, but also offer some financial protection for the employees as well by offering supplemental plans for them. That doesn't cost the employer anything to offer them through the company, just tax ID saying that they're offered. If someone decides to pick a plan, that's great. If not, we're still there to help educate you on what you currently already have in place. And that's what we do as a free service. So that's the pretty much 1 minute pitch that I have on that. I'm here to help anybody and everybody up there. If they want to just have a simple conversation and talk about things, we can do that.
Awesome. Thanks, Otis, and thanks for joining us this morning. Next up, we have Miss Vishnu. Last but certainly not the least. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I am the great Vishnu Sneller of Oceanside Minuteman Press. We were struggling since September when a calamity struck our shop. We almost had to shut it down, but I'm kickstarting it very, very slowly. And then thanks to COVID, we really suffered a lot, but I am staying alive. We still have customers that know me, so they are still coming. I'm not meeting my daily targets, but I have been approved for a PPP, so I'm going to shout just a little bit before, and then when I get my money in the bank, I'm going to have a giveaway of t-shirts that says "Kick the Pandemic." So I'm waiting on that.
Awesome.
I'm depending on e-commerce to give me that kickstart that I need. I've got the certifications for the state and local and federal. So I'm getting somebody today actually at 10 o'clock to help me with the e-commerce.
Okay, and this should give you some extra tips, to tweak that as well. So
yeah.
Thank you everyone for taking the time to share a little bit about your business and for joining us this morning. So now at this time, I'm going to kick it off to John, now that he has a better sense of who you guys are and how he can help you.
Okay, how you doing? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you an absolute massive amount of resources that are available to you through the chamber. If you go to YouTube and type in Oceanside Chamber, you'll go to the Oceanside Chamber area of YouTube, and then type my name in, John Moore. You'll get probably 2 or 3 dozen of the very first one that shows up at the top is a very expansive version of eCommerce 101. And that, yeah, there it is right there. And then you can also, at the same time, open up another window and type in Right Start Websites, and you'll go to the Right Start Websites channel in YouTube.
Oh, let me do this.
Yeah, all one word.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that, John.
Yeah,
Right Start.
You just go to YouTube. Yeah, Right Start Websites YouTube channel.
Right here?
Mm.
Yeah, there, right there at the top.
Want to see this?
Right, right. And there, click videos. Yeah, click videos. You'll see we did through the chamber, we did a whole bunch of presentations talking to all kinds of other businesses and experts throughout the world about all aspects of web development, visibility, Google, social media, just everything you could possibly imagine. You could spend hours learning more about your web business just by watching all these videos. So there's a massive amount of resources there for you to dive through as your leisure. While you're stuck at home, you can educate yourself. You've got lots of videos to watch. So I'm not going to try to duplicate any of that here. Mostly I'm going to try to share with you some of the things that I ran into as I work with businesses. And hopefully you will have questions and you'll type them in, things, concerns you have. One of the biggest problems that I see of any kind is they try to do it all at one time. Picture in their mind of what the perfect e-commerce solution for their business is, and they try to do it all. And more often than not, they waste a lot of money. It doesn't work out. The most successful people in the e-commerce are people who do a little bit at a time. Pick one little piece of your business that you think can benefit. And now maybe it's just a simple thing of setting up a content area where you answer questions for businesses, where you provide help documents for businesses, and put those online, share them on Facebook, on Twitter, get people coming to that content that you're producing and helping them, and put them on your website. Actually have an area your website where you are sharing that kind of content. From there, you get people coming, and then decide, okay, what can I do to actually do business on my website? For example, Minutemen, you can set up a kind of reorder kind of system, but do it very simply. Just put it up as a form that says, I'm interested in doing flyers for something, and have them send you the content that way. That way you can go back and forth with them about fine-tuning what they're going to put on their flyer, and get it all set up so that all they have to do is maybe go to a Vimeo account or a PayPal account and pay you, and then you can do it all online that way. It's kind of primitive, but it can be very effective for a start. And if you get business that way, let's say Minutemen, you get business coming in that way, then try to find a more streamlined solution for it. Because if nobody uses it, you don't want to spend money. I have a client right now, an old client who decided they wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I kept warning them to do just a little bit at a time, and they spent a lot of money, and they discovered that they missed the mark. And so they spent a lot of money to go nowhere. And it's very frustrating for me, especially when I warned them not to. I hate to be right on these sorts of things, but they did, and now they're finally going to back up and do the small part that seems successful and build it up from there. So pick small pieces to solve first, and then build up to that. Now, within the e-commerce space, there's a whole bunch of possibilities. There is your full on custom shopping cart where you hire somebody to build it, the perfect shopping cart. That should be the last step in your process, but that's one thing. And within that, you have to have a payment service, let's say like PayPal you could use, but Stripe, Square, many of these. And if you're going to do a custom solution, one of the things you're looking for is what's called an API, which means Application Programming Interface. That's how you plug into the system and develop a custom system. Okay, so, but most of you will probably start with something much simpler, like a Shopify or a Square, or Etsy is very good for artists. Matter of fact, we have an artist in the group, right? Putting what you do on Etsy might be a way to kind of get people to see and be interested in purchasing some of the art that you have, if that's what you are interested in, selling art. I don't know the specifics of what you do. So, but Etsy is kind of designed that way to create a shop that's very simple and doesn't require a lot of work on your part to get something kind of up. But it allows you to test the possibility that there's some people out there that are interested in purchasing that way. And that's what you're after. You're after finding what people are looking for. Now, the advantage you have right now today is the world has changed enough that people are starting to look to their computer to purchase. This is one of the roadblocks that we struggled with in helping clients, is that getting people to think in terms of doing their business online. It was really hard. You had to do a song and dance, and you had to look really incredible to get people to come. But now you may have an opportunity to get something started, because people are starting to think, hey, I don't want to go out. How can I get this without going out and exposing myself to a possible infection? So they're going to want to do business with you. Oh yeah, I need a shirt too, by the way. I see somebody's asking for a shirt. I was thinking last night of a shirt that says, thank you for wearing a mask. Because really that's what's happening with the mask, is they're doing you by wearing a mask and you're doing them a positive kind of message. Anyway, that would be a good one customer. Anyway, let's see. Let me look at your messages real quick. Virtual. Yeah, well, virtual meetings, that's good. Now, how are you going to promote that is probably one of the things you're probably going to be struggling with to get people used to doing. But this is a good opportunity to start doing that more, because people are going to be more interested in it. So you need to kind of leverage that right now heavily, because you have an audience that wants to do that sort of thing, because they have no choice. They don't want to get out and drive and be exposed to a lot of people. So this is a good opportunity to switch your business more to that kind of online presentation. So you can really take advantage of these times with respect to that kind of an operation. That'd be really good. Okay, no other questions right now. Okay, so what I'd like to help you with right now too is to type in into the chat box what it is that you are wondering about your business and whether it can be online. So why don't you all sort of take some time and type in there, okay, I think I would like to do this, or I'm having trouble doing that. Basically why you're here, and I'll keep going a little bit. One of the things, I had some slides that I was going to do, and about 10 or 15 of them. But unfortunately, what happened is that I ran the software to view it and it crashed. And when it crashed, I didn't save it. So I lost all my edits. So I apologize for that. It was an offshoot of the presentation I did that's on the Oceanside Chamber eCommerce 101, where I stripped it down. So you might want to watch that because it goes through a lot of those details of how that works. Yeah, bandwidth, I know. I'm on a satellite, which means which means sometimes it doesn't handle the bandwidth very well, which is why, of course, when we did a lot of these shows, I did them at the Oceanside Chamber because I took advantage of their bandwidth. And so now you're going to have to struggle with my poor bandwidth, and I apologize for that. Anyway, one of the things that you're going to be dealing with is understanding exactly how a payment system works if you want to take money over the internet. Many of your systems like Shopify and Etsy and Wix, they handle everything for you. All you do is set it up. Now, the downside of those kinds of solutions is you have to do it their way. And so that's one of the first things you need to do when you look at them, is you have to look at it and say, how they solve that problem, does it fit with my business? And sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. But it still is a very good place to kind of test some ideas and test the marketplace. So I would suggest trying those as a start because they're simple. You don't have to invest much time, and you can test. Then you can step up from that with solutions that are kind of a hybrid solution. And a hybrid solution means you do a lot of it on your website, and then you send the customer to, let's say, PayPal or Shopify, do that. Square does that. No, not Square. Stripe. Stripe does that. Too many S's in here. Where it allows you to do everything on your website, but then click a button to actually do the payment on their site. What that means is you don't have to have all of the kind of restrictions on your site that allow for payment. You don't have to have the SSL connection, which you should anyway, but you don't have to. You don't have to have your site scanned. Many of the merchant services require that your website be scanned for vulnerabilities. And you won't have to do that because you're doing all the payment services on PayPal or Stripe or Shopify. So that would be kind of a hybrid solution that you might want to do as the next step, where you do a lot of the work on your site and the payment occurs on the third-party site. And that's where most of you will probably stop for your purposes, unless you want to get into a full-on solution. And the full-on solution means you install a e-commerce software on your website and you do everything right there. The payment. The nice thing about that is if you're doing a lot of sales online, it makes for a nice, clean, consistent solution that's very comfortable for the user because they really feel like they're staying on your website. Fortunately for you, PayPal and Stripe and Shopify, those three are particularly good at integrating into your site so that it doesn't look too much like you're off into space. Matter of fact, for example, PayPal will pop up a window over your website and do the purchase solution right there. So it looks like a purchase dialogue that's part of your website. So it doesn't feel like you're going off somewhere else to do the payment. They have done a very good, here we go. Here we got one from Lauren. Have customer. Yeah, well, this is why I was bringing up the kind of Etsy thing for you, Lauren, is that it would be a good place. Etsy has a huge art craft kind of community. My daughter is an artist. She has an MFA at Claremont Graduate School, and she does a lot of selling of art online there on Etsy. So I do know specifically that you can do fairly well on Etsy with art because she does, and I help her with a lot of her stuff. She does some art, and then she's doing some kind of unique art on various different surfaces. Wood surfaces right now is what she's using, doing art on wood planks and things like that as a different novel way of presenting her art that is actually getting a little more popular. But anyway, I would recommend starting with a place like Etsy around there, and you can kind of leverage that atmosphere and trend of people that go to Etsy to search around for things. It would be a start. You could also present a lot of art on your website and have them purchase it at the Etsy shop. Melanie does that a lot, where she does a lot of promotion on her website and then sends people to Etsy. You can create links to specific items on Etsy, and then they can purchase it from there. Okay? You have any other questions on that, or I missed something? Oh, you want donations online? Yes, yes, yeah. Donations online. That's good. That's not that hard to do. You can create a PayPal button, a square button, a Stripe button that actually you can define a payment. You can define a series of donations you can want to make, and when they click it, they donation button for $5, a donation button for $10. And when they click that button, they go to a specific pre-configured location in PayPal that allows them to purchase that donation. So yes, that's not that hard to do. It's pretty simple that you can integrate that right into your website. PayPal buttons, Stripe. I don't know if Shopify to have specific, you can drop buttons right into your website for donations and stuff. That works good. Managing your e-commerce themselves. It depends on how extensive you get it. I like to see owners be as involved as possible, because that way you keep the solution in line with where you're going. Developers go, oh, you could do this, oh, you can do that, and they come up with all these ideas, and they take off, and suddenly you're off in left field spending money, and it's not working. I tend to be a little more cautious and cynical because I've been doing this for so long, and I've seen it not work for some people, that I tend to be more cautious. I'm usually the one that puts the brakes on. Possible. Because sometimes even people within that business, let's say you have a business and you have an assistant, and you say to the assistant, hey, work with this developer and solve this problem. And they go off, and the assistant goes out there to look at the solution, and the owner goes, whoa, wait a minute, that wasn't what I had in mind. And it wasn't that the assistant was doing anything bad. It's just that you weren't really communicating how you envision the solution. And the reason you weren't communicating that is that you weren't steps. And when you see the steps, you can go, oh, that won't work. But I think if you outsource a little bit of it, you need to stay involved. Don't just walk away and say, hey, solve this for me. Unless you have a lot of money. I mean, if you've got a lot of money, well, why not, I guess. but most small businesses don't have a lot of money. So you need to be very hands-on. And it's hard because, you know, that's the problem with small business is you're wearing 20 hats. And you're running around with all these 20 hats trying to keep an eye on it. So you need to schedule time to work with whoever you're outsourcing to, if that's what you want to do and you can afford to do it. Mostly what you need to outsource is somebody who has an idea how to ask the right questions and has an idea of where to look for the solutions. And you have my email address, so I can be your first question to get you going in the right direction. Like I said, I'm semi-retired. I'm not out to earn any money right now. But I will give you an answer, and I will do some research for you and try to point you in the right direction. So be sure and ask me, and let me be your on getting you in the right direction. No more, Lauren? Okay, that rang a bell with you, Lauren, right? You think that might do something great? Okay, yeah, I think that's a good start. Like I said, my daughter's had good luck with that. Her website's called Susie Blue Designs, and Susie Blue is her daughter. Her daughter is named Susie, and her nickname is Susie Blue. And that's why she named it Susie Blue Design. So you might go look at her site and look at her website, which is at susiebluedesigns.com, and see how she's going about it. She also has a strictly her more formal art site is moremelanie.com, I think it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't go there very often. I think it's moremelanie.com. Moremelanie.com. That's her more sophisticated art that she does, that she did as part of her graduate studies and stuff. Anyway, so you might go there and check that out. I don't know. I'm hogging my bandwidth right now, so I can't go to websites very easily. So anyway, those are the those are the websites you might go to see how one artist is trying to solve that solution. Okay. Any other questions before we go on?
Oh, it looks like Wendy has
Okay, you're gonna move on. Goodbye. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yes. Bye-bye.
To John really quickly, before we finish it off, John's been offering his services to the chamber, for our member businesses for years now, and just doing, these workshops on, anything from SEO to Google listings, setting up some of the most basic stuff to getting really complex and intricate into these listings and the way businesses are represented. So I'd like to invite you guys just to, pick his brain, whenever he has time throughout all of this. John's been, really busy just when we've been going back and forth, just talking about everything from making masks to educational videos for his granddaughter. So, I'd highly recommend you guys, reach out to him if you have questions on anything pertaining to, the online digital world with business. We like to call him our local Google expert. So for those of you that don't have your Google listing set up and things like that, he's been a really great source of information on that. And, I'm sure he can share this as well, but the chamber can also help for those of you that don't have that listing set up. We can help expedite that process too. So just wanted to throw that out there and, see if you guys had any last minute questions you'd like to ask John or any comments you have.
Actually, one of the things I want to do, it's on the bottom of my list, the last thing, was that very topic of Google My Business. I wanted to really highlight that, because that is probably one of your first steps of doing stuff online, is to get your Google My Business. And And that's what you're going to type in the search, Google My Business, and we'll send you the website. One of the things you want to do as a test on a separate browser window, type the name of your business. Type your name of your business out in full and hit enter and see what comes up. What should be coming up is your business. And if it doesn't, that means you haven't configured Google My Business right. Matter of fact, one of the ways, Emerald, that you can do is type in Oceanside Chamber and show them in the search and show them the little side window that shows up on the side when you type that in. Now see on your right where it says Oceanside Chamber and it shows this whole panel off to the right. That is what will show up for all of you, is that panel on the right. If you have a Google My Business listing, you'll get this full panel on the right where you can set up a link, directions to your business. You can set up your website. You can set up when you're open and how long you're open. You can put events in there that you might be doing. You can post various types of content. You can answer questions. You can encourage people to do reviews there. Google has set this up totally free for every business to actually tell Google about themselves. Tell Google what you're doing, how you're doing it, put pictures up. I mean, it's like its own little website right there in the search engine. So this is like incredible. I have actually had businesses who don't have websites get at the top of the listing on their topic just by really working on the Google My Business profile. So this is like, I saved this for last because I wanted to be on the top of your mind, is go and do that. And then if you're an Oceanside Chamber member, Emerald will help you get verified, because you do have to get verified because Google doesn't want to put listings up for bogus businesses. So they need a verification. And fortunately for you, if you're an Oceanside Chamber, the Oceanside Chambers are considered the most authoritative reference for a business. So having Oceanside Chamber verify you as a business is like the gold standard. Okay, that's one of the businesses of being an Oceanside Chamber member, is that association. Google really likes it. Google likes it because Google has a way to verify that you are a legitimate business. And that's something that they work on. So Google My Business, write that down, start working on it. Make sure, some of you have probably something already, but you'll notice that it's incomplete because maybe you haven't been working on it. Google will try to create one for you, even if you haven't applied, just based on your website, but you need to help them. Go claim your business, claim your panel, claim your profile, and start working on it. Get your pictures up, get those links up, get that content in there, and you're going to see that depending on the kind of business you are and your local competition, you can start moving up in the search rankings just by doing that. So that's should be number one on your list of things to do after you leave today, even before you think about e-commerce too much more. Okay?
And I did want to add
any other
one extra thing too. I just wanted to add something, onto what John said, the value of, what we can do here at the Chamber for you guys. I'd like to invite you guys to pick our brains too, with things related to SEO. One thing that's nice to know about your listings on the website is we don't have a limit to word counts. We have a lot of different content types we can put there, from videos to graphics. So it's able to, be enhanced and interactive with that. But just wanted to kind of point out that, when you search restaurants in Oceanside, just as a general, you're going to get typically your paid ads at the top with TripAdvisor and you know, Yelp, but then the chamber's restaurant category is falling under here, and it has for the past, you know, 3 or 4 years since I worked for the chamber. And you know, the benefit to that, and I know neither of you are in restaurants, but just for an example's sake, you know, this would take us to our entire restaurant category. So just showing again the power of the chamber, leading traffic back to your business. So be thinking of maybe keywords that people are searching out there and what we can add to your listing. So for Otis, you know, that would be maybe you giving me a list of your services, or for Lauren, maybe that's you sharing, you know, different types of art products that you have, or styles, things that people, you know, are typically searching for related to your industry. So, you know, we want to be able to help you guys get found and, you know, have the most exposure while you're doing that in a cost-effective way. So definitely reach out to us and take us up on that offer.
Will do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, well, I expect to get some emails from some of you if you've got questions, and I'll be glad to really help you. Okay.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and close the meeting now. We'll save the chat and send that out to you guys afterwards, and we'll make sure you have John's contact info so you can stay up to date. Our next event is going to be our first Tuesday coffee next week. We're going to host that on Zoom. So we invite you guys to log on to the chamber site, register for that. It's a networking event, so it's open to anyone, not just chamber members. And it's a good chance for you to share info about your business and share updates that are going on related to COVID or promotions you might have. So thank you all so much for joining us this morning. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.
Thank you.